Alright gang, we're back in action on the econoline. Let's get a black marker and mark on this black primered panel our three little bends we're going to make. I did clean some of the primer off where I'm going to weld. These things come with some crazy pretty little primer. This was a big panel. It's an OEM panel, but it's an old panel from maybe the 80s or something. I picked it up at a swap meet. It was long and bent, and it's going to be perfect for the side that we're only replacing that small section in. So I cut the big section off. The bottom lip was damaged, and I'm going to rebend it. This first bend is going to be what they call a loose bend in the brake. When they come formed, they sort of come panel comes in, this being the bottom of the truck, on a curve. It's got a slow roll, and then it's got a sharp 90 and a sharp 90, and right here it's spot welded. We are making from here to here today. This slow roll I'll do by just keeping my top clamp loose and prevent it from making a sharp 90. It will make a larger radius bend. Hopefully we can get it close. So you can see how loose it is there. Roll it up to our top line. Just kind of keep it loose. I'm sure there's a technical way for all you professional body guys out there. I'm just a hack. So we're gonna hack it. Now the panel for the other side is already bent and ready to go. I don't have to do any of this to that one. There you see it, slow roll there. Too shabby looking. Take it over to the truck. I've been sorry to leave y'all. You've heard of measure 3 times, cut once. Well, this is bend 3 times before you weld. There's your slow roll. You can see it's taking shape now. Let me take you over to the truck, see if we can do this one-handed. Great camera work, I'm sure. Rob will appreciate it. Guys, for those of you that just joined, this is a buddy, a fellow camper builder of mine named Rob, the Rebuilder. There you go. You can see that panel lines up right there. The next one's going to be that curve at the second line there, and then we'll finish it off with the third line. But you can see it's pretty close right there. We can tack the top in and dolly and hammer it if we need to. Back into place. There you go. There she is. I know it's a little hard to make out, but you'll see once we back up and get the whole thing in place. Updated the marks. Guys, when you're bending metal, you actually stretch it. So it's always a good thing to go back and retrace your marks and make sure the metal hasn't stretched enough that your next bend is going to be off that 1/8 of an inch or a 1/16 of an inch or whatever. I know a lot of you watched the last video and you got on me about safety glasses. Thank you. I appreciate you looking out for me. But really, my eyes are fine, dudes. It's okay. Y'all would think that after years of an automotive shop and welding mufflers and everything else, I'd do better, but this one is pretty much gonna be a 90 even with this, so it's got to kick out, and then that flange we just bent should be on the same angle as this. I go past them a little bit and then take the spring out. Do it however you're comfortable doing it. Like I said, I'm just a hack. By no means am I a professional. Ah, baby. more out. Look how much but it's only metal, guys. You can always rework it. So I'm going to test it one more time. We're going to bend this bottom one now. I did transfer my marker to the back side since these two are opposite bends from the first one. Whoa, look at that bad boy. Alright, give you the first half here. I just got it temporarily mocked up. We're going to take a little out of that radius there, and we're going to dolly and hammer that a little bit over. She's I don't know if the camera picks it up. There's a little kink right there where we're a little too far in right in the center of your screen, but otherwise, bad fit. Doesn't look bad going down the side. We're going to get to stitch welding. I'm going to tack it in place and then kind of pry and weld as I go. There you have it. I got this top corner here pretty flush where I want it. I'm going to put a tack there. Time to cool. This is pretty flush here. We're going to hit that one. Instead of moving around to disperse the heat, we're going to let that cool a minute. Guys, I'm using 030 wire and a full argon mix. I'm a MIG welder. It's just an Eastwood 135. The gas set is about 10. This is 16 gauge. It's as close as I could get to this body right here. Panels we got off of Facebook are pretty sure they're 18s or 20s. I don't know. We'll see when they get here. All right, gang, I'm gonna keep going on this. You may see me grab my pick and pull out on that panel, or a screwdriver and push in from time to time. That's just to align the metal up. If you heard that or not, but the different tone in the weld there, I hit a rust bubble in this metal, obviously, and the gas didn't like it, so it left a little porous mark there. We're gonna have to go back with our 4-inch grinder and grind that out and re-weld it. Checking your backside and make sure you ain't starting a marshmallow roast anywhere. It's looking really good. I'm gonna tap that in right there a little bit. Bring that one out. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but there's about a 1/16 of an inch gap right here. I'm gonna have to very carefully go back and stitch weld all them in. I'm gonna push this in. There's some paint right there. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to weld to that. I'm gonna have to get my grinder out. we'll have to push this in and pull this corner out a little. I also got to ding this in just a smidgen, and then you'll see this will line up once we get this tucked back in where it's supposed to be right there. Now that's flush. All right, I'm gonna keep going on this. Y'all don't have to watch it all. I'll come back when I got her all tigged in completely, or migged in, I'm sorry. I've been practicing my TIG lately, so that's on my mind. I'll hit it with a flapper disc and clean them all up, and we'll see where we stand. There's several ways to do a panel repair like this. By all means, do not have all your answers. I'm just doing it my way. We did, of course, the cut and butt method, where you're butting your two surfaces together and you're filling it with, your MIG welder, grinding it down smooth, repeating the process until you're flush and all your holes are filled and there's no way for water intrusion to get in there and create any kind of bodywork problems. You saw me alternate spots as I welded to prevent any warpage from heat buildup. I did the same thing as I ground it down. I ground a little bit here. You can tell I have a lot more to go on this. There's a couple other ways you can do it. I've seen a lot of people take this replacement panel and it a little bigger than the hole, lay it up there, make it into place with a couple spots, and then actually take their cutoff wheel and cut the outline of it, push the panel in flush with the top of the body or the edge of the body, and then go ahead and MIG that in place, and then go back behind it and peel their old panel off that they only, MIG'd in place in a couple of spots once it's cut out. That's fine, do it that way if you want. I've also seen people do the flanger. Basically all that does is your panel here, you would crimp an edge all the way around it, the size of your hole or the size of your replacement that you need to replace, and then you tuck that in from behind and then go ahead and weld your seam in that way. The only problem that creates is if you can't get to the back side of that to seal that lip, then you have a spot for potential moisture to sit and rot. I've just always done it this way. Like I said, if you're into this thing, do it however you want. I'm gonna keep plugging away at these welds, guys, and get this seam filled in and ground down and smoothed out, and I'll be back with you. See, I really like that line. Look at that, boy. We're gonna hit her with a 24 grit grinder and knock some of that off. I'll go real light so I don't build up a lot of heat. I'll knock it down, get it really close. Then I'll hit the few spots. I can see a couple here, there. And then like I showed you in the camera a minute ago, right there and there's just two pinholes that I can see through. It's an easy trick is to put a light behind it if you can get to the back side and shine it up. I can get to the back side underneath here, so I shined my flashlight up in there and I saw a couple pinholes. Let's knock some of this down and then I'll get to hitting it again. Not gonna lie to you guys, not like some of them Motor Trend guys do, and Power Block TV guys we used to watch on Sundays. Half-hour show, they'd have this truck primed and painted. I probably got 6 hours in this whole panel replacement already, and I still haven't gotten it anywhere close to doing any kind of finished dolly and hammer and body work yet. But as you can see, it's pretty smooth. There's no warpage, it's straight across here. Like I said, I'm grinding here for a little bit, and I'm gonna move over here and do some more. But bodywork's disappearing, metal patch is disappearing, it's blended in fine. There is that two little pinholes there I want to go back and fill, and maybe one right there. We're going to get the flashlight behind it and see. I'm going to keep grinding away at this seam here, and I'll be back. Another trick you can do is get an air hose and kind of blow that off as you're grinding, cool it down. As you've seen, I was grinding over here, then I jumped over here, and then I jumped back over there. You will see me go from the 4.5 24 grit to a 36 grit big wheel, And you probably noticed I'm holding this on the edge just to knock off these big chunks. But as you get closer to the metal surface, you want to flatten your disc out. You don't want to use the corner on a 45 to create ripples in it or any kind of waves. The flatter you can use your grinder wheel, the better. And we'll finish it with a orbital sander or maybe some 80 or 100 grit or something. Well, there you go. Now I could stop here. I'm not gonna lie and say, hey, that flappy wheel hides a lot on the camera. If you zoom in close, you can see I've got a low spot there and some weld to fill along with there. Right there's a little crease we're gonna have to do some work to. But up in that corner is a little bit, see it? But for the most part, she's straight. As far as the metal goes, you see she ain't sticking out 3/4 of an inch or a half inch like she was with that full Bondo. And there we go. I am going to keep at it just because I'm picky. I want to get this spot done here and maybe dolly out from the backside since I can get to it right there and bring this up a little bit and then finish weld that in and grind some of that out of there again. And then I'll probably put a skim coat of Duraglass on there. But for right now, this econoline's a little bit happier